you create a friends list, also write this down, called hot buyers. Okay? You'll also do the same thing for warm buyers, right? You'll also do the same thing for, right, prospective buyers. Okay?
You could do lists on Facebook.
I will teach that class. Actually, I teach a social media class next Thursday, guys. I've been blasting everywhere on Facebook. You should come to it.
I will.
Right, and it's about how we do lists.
Here?
No, not here, unfortunately. But I will, if you want information to that girl in the checkered blouse, we'll happily get it to you. Okay, so I friend them on Facebook. Okay, and then I figure out, right, if, depending on how hot they are, I pay attention to life events. Okay, so this for me is how I go deep with people and I convert them very quickly. So I pay attention to life events. So if there's somebody that's going to buy right away, or I know they're going to sell right away, right, if I see they went out to a really great restaurant, I'll be like, oh my God, you tried that amazing restaurant, how was it? Or, oh, by the way, I know it's your anniversary, here's this amazing restaurant, let me know what you think. And if I know that they're going to book a reservation, I might send a bottle of wine, right? Or if it's, you know, they ended up in the hospital, I'll send something. I like pay attention to these things because I'm really trying to develop a deep relationship with them, okay? So I use my CRM to categorize, I use Facebook to stalk them. This is called extreme follow, okay? Awesome. So, now that we've talked about categorizing all of your people and where you're gonna input them, input requires all of the information that you can get about a client. Okay, so I know people like just put names and phone numbers. I put names, phone numbers, birthdays, address, everything, spouses' names, children's names, everything I can think of in this, because I always need things to jog my memory. I always want to develop relationships. I always want them to know that I am in relationship with them. So I want to be able to say, oh my God, oh my God, Sammy, how's your boyfriend Joe? How's everything going? How are the puppies? How are the kiddos? Right? Like, I want to be able to say those things to these people and know it off the top of my head. Okay? All right. So we're going to talk about what we do with leads, right? Because this is primarily a lead conversion class. So that's the basic with categories. So I'm going to tell you what my actual follow-up process is with a lead, okay? And then why it's this way for leads and how we've had maximum conversion, okay? So every single lead is labeled under lead in my CRM, okay? So lead means that I have yet to contact them, okay? When I enter in the CRM, my person gets 2 phone calls every single time. So a lead goes in, 2 phone calls go. I never leave a voicemail the first time, okay? I never leave a voicemail the second time. Here's what happens. If you ever get 2 phone calls in a row, what do you think?
It's important.
It's important, okay? Now, if when you pick up the phone, right, you would be rather annoyed, right? This is like what people think. I'd be annoyed if I found out that it wasn't super important, okay? So here's what my script looks like. We call them twice and I go, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed you're picking up. It didn't let me leave a voicemail the first time. Okay, they're instantaneously not mad anymore, right? They're de-stressed, and I just go right into why I'm calling them, okay? I have never had anyone tell me off. I've never had anyone get upset at all, okay?
Just so I'm clear, you get a lead, you call, you hear it ring, once you hang up.
No, I let it ring to voicemail.
Okay.
But she doesn't leave a voicemail.
But I won't leave a voicemail, hang up when I get voicemail, and I'll call it back again. And I'll say, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I tried to leave a voicemail, it didn't work. Like, I got cut off, like, I'm so embarrassed.
So those calls you're getting like that came to Lizy's class at some point.
I understand.
It's highly effective.
Only they don't apologize. They just, they let you go, why are you calling me 3 times?
And if they pick up, you launch right into your relationship.
They pick up and they go, oh my goodness, Carl, I'm so sorry. I actually didn't think you were going to pick up. I couldn't leave a voicemail before.
No, but if you call the first time they pick up, you're all in.
I'm all in. I'm like, oh my God, Carl, it's Lizy.
Hang on. If they answer, just panic and hang on. Shouldn't expect that.
No, but I'm all in the first time, okay?
Oh my God, Carl, absolutely.
If they don't pick up the second time, I shoot them a text message that says, hey, I'm trying to reach you. I was unable to leave a voicemail, right? When is the best time for us to speak, right? It's highly effective to get a return back this way, So 2 dials, text message. Okay. Now, if they do not answer, like the text message, I call them one more time at the end of the day, and then I leave a voicemail. Okay. This sounds very aggressive, but I promise you, your first day is your highest chance of getting a lead converted. So you have to be the most aggressive on the first day. 1 phone call is not enough. 1 phone call and text message is not enough. I've tested this a very long time, and I have very limited time, so I try to be as aggressive as I can the very first day. And my conversion with leads, like my lead to contact ratio is like in the 90%, and my lead to conversion is in the high 60s.
Wow.
Which, if you know anything about leads, super high. And it's because now I'm not calling cold leads, so that's why your face is confused, right? I'm calling referrals, right? But that's still extremely high, right? For that. Now, a couple things that are to my advantage. I worked in a call center for 5 years, right? So I am very good on the phone. Okay?
Aggressive.
I am very aggressive too. But I'm also, so I'm aggressive in a way that I just close, right? So I'm just calling and I'm answering questions and I'm moving to the next step, right? Because 60% of the population, guys, those passive people, they just need you to get them to the next step as soon as possible, right? So I answer the question, give them the next step, right? I am always in control of those conversations, okay? But I will tell you that this strategy I used at the call center, I use in my regular life. We convert a ton of deals. Like we're on pace to close 1,000 deals this year, right? You have to be really, really good at this, okay?
You said they were for referrals, and Ms. Logan, was that, what kind of referral? I mean, if you met them at open house or whatever, out in the street or something like that, you use that, or you're talking about referrals?
Absolutely. You guys, I convert everyone. It's like
But I mean,
hilarious.
it's the same thing that you just said, because he just mentioned it.
100%. So my son went to Phoenix Children's Hospital for a planned procedure, right? I got in conversation with the NICU. She talked to me. I got her phone number right there. I text messaged her that night. I called her the next day. I called her that next day. I mean, I got it converted. I sat next to a girl at the Henry. Same deal. I sit there. I talk to them. I meet them. I put them in my system. I call them until we are converted.
Do you always follow up with your leads, or do you have anyone else on your team?
My team follows this, so it's my CRM and my team. So if it's a lead that I am personally handling, I follow the same procedure as everyone else. Okay.
So question, when you were talking about the hospital and the person, obviously they expressed an interest in buying a property.
So here's the deal. Can I give you a little tip? Right. It's going to make me sound super creepy, but this is a pro tip. Okay.
More creepy?
Alright, so whenever somebody says to me, you look familiar, right, and this for whatever reason happens to me quite a bit, or I might say that to somebody, you look familiar, I will then say, well, you know, are you in the market to buy a home? Straight up. Because you know what, I'm the #1 lender in Phoenix. You probably saw my advertisements, or you probably saw something about me, right? I just go into it. Are you in the market to buy a home? And they're like, well, and they always answer. I mean, like, that's just what happens. They always answer. It's either a yes or a no, or they might have been looking, and that's how we just get talking into real estate. 100% of every time.
So they don't run away?
No, because it's generally not like a weird thing,
Yeah.
you know, like, so, if somebody, I mean, how many times has somebody said something to you just similarly, like, where do I know you from?
There you go.
Always.
And then you go, I don't know you. I don't know. And you get all weird because you're like, how's that person know me? I just assume it's about real estate, right? I just assume it's about real estate and I just go straight into it. Yes, and everyone laughs, but like, no joke. I do home loans everywhere. If I met you in a public place, chances are I asked you if you're in the market to buy or sell. And just put you in this. So I consider them warm leads because they told me that they were interested in buying, and I met them. Right? And they gave me their phone number, so I mean, that's a really good sign. I mean, it's kind of like dating, right? If you get a phone number, you're like 80% in.
You have not been dating for a while.
Well, if you got a phone number, it's I mean, I don't give out my
So
phone
if
number
it's
to
a
people
wrong-
I'm like, meh about.
She's talking about, you're confusing contact to conversion.
Also talking the correct phone number.
Damn. It means you earned their trust early on.
I earned their trust early on, absolutely.
So when you get that wrong phone number, you just do the same thing, right? Just like, oh, yeah.
One digit up,
I'll
one
look
digit
at,
down.
okay, so this is really good because we're talking about extreme phone ownership, right? If I get a wrong phone number and I've already put them into Facebook, I'll shoot them a direct message and be like, I'm a bonehead, I took down the wrong number. That's what happens, guys. Like, here's the deal, I am so not afraid to get a no. I am so not afraid for somebody to be like, I'm not interested, stop calling me, no thank you. Those things, all I hear is not right now. Right, that's it, and I'm super polite, I wish everyone the best, and they're still on my Facebook, right, so they just get to see all of the value that I provide, because I really, my main focus is providing education on money and tips and how to get ahead, and so people constantly see me depositing, right, like I'm constantly depositing. So a lot of times, people who haven't used us will refer people, or they'll come back. Okay, but that's why to have a really good solid strategy with Facebook in addition to your CRM. Okay, so day 2 of a lead. Okay, I give them a phone call and shoot them an email. Okay, and that email says, sorry I missed you. Right, I always assume that we could have done something better.
Email what?
So I call them one more time and then I send them an email that says, sorry I missed you. Okay, whenever I don't get them the 4th time, I email their referral partner and say, hey, I haven't been able to get a hold of this lead. Right? Can you help me re-engage them? Okay? Then the next day after that, it's 2 phone calls and a text message. Okay? The day after that, it's, are the weekends better? Right? Because sometimes people are more available on the weekends or evenings. Right? So I'm just trying to find out, maybe I'm getting them with the wrong availability. Okay? And they get a text and an email. Okay? I repeat that process until I've called every client 8 times and they've received 4 text messages and 4 emails. Okay? Hold on. Once they've received my last email, it says, did I drop the ball? Right? This is highly effective. Highly effective when it comes to lead conversion. So, did I drop the ball? It must have been something I said. It must have been, was I not reaching at the right time? What could I have done? People feel terrible about this. I can't even tell you that they get a response like so fast. Oh my God, I was on vacation. Oh, it's not you. Oh, we decided to hold off. I'm so sorry. No, you guys are perfect, right? Like I get all kinds of things. Okay? If they don't, from there, answer the phone, they get all of my Monday tip emails on money. They get called and text messaged once a month. Okay, and then on a quarterly basis, I have my ISAs calling them, okay? Now, after 30 days of being on this program, I will send them another email. This one is a little bit more aggressive.
You're dead to me.
No, it says, have you given up?
Oh.
Right?
What point did you send that?
30 days after they have not answered. It says, have you given up? Okay?
Is that a text or?
It is an email. It says, have you given up? Okay?
What was your last text or email in that
It was,
sentence?
did I drop the ball?
And then after that, you're not making phone calls after that.
We are. No, we are. So they get a call, a text, with a call from an ISA, a text, and an email once a month on top of getting all my money to Monday emails.
Is that your repeat 3 times on this list? Okay.
Yes.
What's the repeat sometimes?
The call, the text, the email, calls, text, email, calls.
3 months then.
No, every week.
So they get this. So how this circles will be, it's 8 phone calls is what they'll get in 2-week process, 4 emails and 4 text messages. Then they get the did I drop the ball email at the end. We wait 30 days to then email them again, right? Aside from the Money Tip Mondays and the text message like, hey. And then the 30-day email is, have you given up, right? Because I want to piss people off a little bit if they haven't responded. Like I want them to respond of some kind, and I find that like if the guilt didn't work, poking the bear kind of works too. Okay. If they don't respond to that, 1 week later, we will send them a text message with 2 cricket emojis. I swear to God, it gets such good laughs, right? We have people respond to that all the time. If somebody has ghosted you, period, and you had a really good relationship, how many of you have that kind of situation right now? Okay, do me a favor, shoot them a text message right now with 2 cricket emojis. Okay, like literally go do it right now in this class. Let's see if they respond.
I don't think I followed up enough with them to do that.
And that's all you put on there is 2 cricket emojis, that's it.
Because it means cricket, cricket, like I haven't heard from people. Like they get embarrassed, for whatever reason, they chuckle, they get embarrassed, they respond. Right? They're like, all right, you got me. So do it right now if you've done it, right? How long have you been waiting for an answer back? Oh, totally. What are you losing? They haven't called you in a month. Right? Cricket, cricket.
So
it's funny.
for you to be a
Like, if you got that text message, are you going to throw your phone across the room and be like, F that person? Like, how many of you had that reaction? No, all of you chuckled when I said it. Right? It's a funny thing. You didn't think of doing it. If you got it, you'd probably laugh and be like, that was really creative. I'm going to respond. Okay? I promise you I do this to lots of people. I have never had one person ever say F you. 0. I have 0% FUs on the 2 crickets.
Do you have a cricket emoji that does that?
Yeah, cricket emoji. It's
No,
on.
one that does the cricket emoji on the FU. I really like that.
Little dots.
I would like a
You can
cricket
do
emoji.
dot dot dot, but I mean the cricket emoji thing is funny, guys. I promise.
That will get people.
Yeah.
I've not tried that emoji, but I would probably just do the cricket, right?
Yeah, with one of these next to it.
You could try that. I don't know how well that would work.
Well, some people I know it would work very well.
Okay. Now, when it gets a little bit more technical, right? Like, okay, they've moved from the you got a buyer's appointment or you got a listing agreement, right? Then you have more categories to categorize people, right? Because people are pre-qualified, or they're on credit plans, or they're pre-approved, or they're buying with a new build. There's so many different categories you can have them on. These are the ones that I have for leads, right? After we've made contact, after we've had an application, after I've converted them past that whole stage. I will always adjust people's buying cycles though, depending on what they qualify here. So everyone starts off with 2 categories, but just know you have to constantly be adjusting them. And whenever things get low, like whenever you start feeling like you're not busy, you always have to hit your list of warm and hot clients. Okay, that's like the first place I go. If I don't have any appointments, I'm hitting those lists. Okay, and I'm going, hey, how are you finding the home search? I noticed you haven't favorited any properties in a while. Obviously, I'm sending you garbage. What can we adjust? Right? Hey, are we looking for something that's maybe off the market? How can I solve your problem, right? Because what we're trying to do is get them to buy a house. We're not trying to extend our follow-up. That's the one thing that people, like if you're taking one thing out of this class, this is not follow-up indefinitely class. This is follow-up and convert and close class, right? Like extreme follow-up is to get people to make a decision one way or the other, okay? So, but if you are light on transactions, light on appointments, you hit that warm list and you hit that hot list. The only way you're going to know to pull it though, right, is if you've categorized it appropriately. Okay? One other pro tip, every single lead that you get within a month has to be dispositioned. Okay? If you find on whatever system that you're tracking leads on that you didn't disposition it, you have to disposition it by the end of the month. There should be no leads that are in the untouched category, uncontacted category. That's just a temporary category so that you know that you need to continue to convert them, right? Now, if for whatever reason you didn't finish your workflow, finish your workflow, okay? I'm gonna tell you why, it's so important, okay? So here's the progression of a sale. Like this is an honest progression of a sale, okay? So 43% of salespeople will make at least one phone call, okay? Believe it or not, people get leads and don't call them. We don't relate to those people, but I'm just saying they exist. Apparently there's more people who won't call a lead than people who will. Okay, 68 people give up after the second attempt, right? So 43% of people are like, I'm gonna give up after phone call 1, if they called at all. Then 68% of people give up after phone call 2. So let's say you're calling expireds, FSBOs, internet leads. Like, people gave up after 2 attempts, right? All right, then contact 3, again, 68% of people. Contact 4 is when the low-hanging fruit is, right? This is like when people start getting warm. They're like, okay, this guy's serious. He keeps calling me, sending me stuff, right? That's why that 2 weeks of follow-up is pretty huge, right? So like I've measured this pretty hard. So we're always in the high 30s% in the first week of conversion on leads. The second week, we're always in the high 50s, okay? Because some people, they just take that long to convert, right? They get busy with their jobs. I mean, people don't live their lives to get qualified for mortgages, okay? They don't live their life to look for real estate unless they need to move out like now, okay? So they're like, oh, I'll get to that, oh, I'll get to that. So it's super helpful, believe it or not, to keep getting called. Like, how many of you have like meant to go do something and you're like, oh, thank God you called me again? Have you ever had that sentiment in your life? Same deal right now, okay? So then contact 5. So here's where it gets flaky, guys.
Appreciate it.
So you technically have a higher percentage of converting leads past the 6th attempt, okay? So that's a statistical proven fact. You can convert and get more people on. But past the 6th contact, they're like 50% likely to drop off. Okay, does that make sense? Now, it does not mean that you don't call them to 8 contacts. Okay? It does not mean that you don't do that. Okay? It just means that past the 6th attempt, those people get a little bit flaky. So right here where it says like contact 4 is ideal, right? If you get them on the 4th contact, right, they're just as hot and warm and ready to convert as all the previous steps above. Okay? Underneath that, they start getting a little wishy-washy. But I would rather have 1 out of 3 than 0 out of 3. Are you with me? Cool. All right. So calling 3 times is 68 more effective than calling 1 time. Okay. Calling 6 times is 94% more effective than calling 1. Okay. But the leads contacted after the 6th time, again, like I said, 45% less likely to actually follow through. Okay. I only give you that statistic because if you're running teams, people will want to know why they have to contact so many times, right? And I always have to tell my people this. But you can't give up, right? Like, I want every lead. Do you guys want every lead?
Yes.
Oh, that didn't sound very aggressive. Do you want every lead?
Yes.
Really, you want every lead? This did not convince me. Yes?
Yes.
Alrighty. I just want to make sure you're awake. Am I boring you?
No.
Okay. All right, so this is statistics on why you need to text message people, okay? So 20% of emails are open, okay? That's a fact. So that's why you have to have really good subject lines like, are you giving up, right? Like, did I drop the ball, right? That's why you have to have really good lines. That's why you have to have cricket emojis, okay? 98% of text messages are read, okay? So you know that people are getting your message. If your text message looks like this, no one cares. They literally, they got your text message, but they're not going to respond, right? You have to do close-ended sentences, no yes or no's, okay? When are you available to speak, right? They would have to type a longer sentence back to me other than like noon, right? Like, oh, I'm not available anymore, right? That's way too many words for a text. It's way easier just to give me 3 p.m., right? We've seen it. 29% of tweets are ever read. You're never going to tweet people, but I just want you to know. And 12% of Facebook posts are read. Now, with Facebook posts, the reason that you have to post every day is for this thing. Okay, the reason you have to engage with people, so like their comments, go read their stuff, is because the more you comment on theirs, the more likely they are to see yours. The algorithm says, oh, they're friends, so I'm going to keep pushing this. It's super, super, super important that you do that, because if they're only seeing 12% of them, don't you want to be in the 12%? Okay.
What about Instagram? I was just curious, only because everybody's saying that's like the new.
Can I give you some
whatever,
stats on
response.
Instagram?
Yes.
I don't want to be rude to people on Instagram. I have an Instagram presence, right? Because I know that that's the future of buyers in like 10 years from now. But the average income of somebody who's on Instagram is $37,000 a year. Okay? The average income of somebody on Instagram is, on LinkedIn is over $100,000, right? And we're talking $67,000 on Facebook. So I spend all of my attention on the LinkedIn and Facebook. I do have an Instagram, right? But I'm going for where people can buy houses.
Thank you.
Now, millennials live in Instagram, right? So they live there. So you can't ignore it if you want. I mean, I plan on being in mortgages like the rest of my life. So, I mean, I can't ignore them, right? But I just know that if you're going to have a strategy right now, I included the ones where people make money. Okay?
Thank you.
It's just true. Okay.
And qualify for loans, right?
I know, is that awful? But I mean, we're talking about extreme conversion here, right? Like, we want people who can close. One thing I will tell you about leaving a voicemail, okay? Because this is something I taught in my scripting class, but it's also something that I need for you guys to know. Never, ever, ever leave a voicemail that sounds like, "Hi, this is Lizy Hoeffer from Guild Mortgage," right? I can do that if I've been referred and people expect my call. But if you're calling a Boomtown lead, or if you're calling a lead in general, expired, FSBO, whatever, that phone call better sound like, "Hey Zeb, it's Lizy, give you a buzz, 480-593-4510. Click. Okay? Why? Because Zeb's gonna go, "Where the heck do I know Lizy from?" Right? And it's gonna bug him. And if I call him again, I'm like, "Hey, I haven't heard from you yet. 480-593, he's gonna be like, "Where did I meet this girl?" And then he calls and I just jump into my thing. Okay? It's super important that you do that, because if you do not and you start going into your spiel in a voicemail, the follow-up system doesn't work. Like, it just straight up doesn't work. If people don't call you back, it doesn't work. Okay? All right. So, I wanted to also talk to you about why it's super important to grow your database, and why it's super important to market to your database, and how you can continue to cultivate leads, again with a Facebook strategy, again with adding people to things that are valuable, okay? So how many of you guys have a newsletter that you personally write with opinions that are yours? Perfect. I get Carl's. I actually think it's very good.
You do?
I do, and I read it, and I've always thought it was very good, and I can tell you write it.
Like the video or no video?
I think that you should have both. I am old-spirited, so I like text, to be honest, but most people like videos.
Did you actually open the video?
I don't, no.
See, because I think the video, unless you're subtitled, a lot of people can't watch the video wherever they are, right?
Yeah,
Like if
so
I'm sitting here in this
subtitle all your
class
videos.
looking at a video, I can't turn.
Well, let's hope you're not looking at videos in my class. No, so you would want to subtitle them. I personally like text. That's me. Okay, I'm the person who reads a Facebook post versus watch a video, right? But I am not the norm, right? They say that the statistics actually go in the opposite favor of the video, right? Which is why I'm doing videos very heavily, okay? But I, this year, decided to come up with something that would bring people into my database, right? So for every person that you know, right, they know of 3 people who need a real estate transaction. That's a fact. You know of 3 people, they know of 3 people, right? Like, it's crazy. And if you have 300 people in your database and you hit them up 33 times, this is true, okay? It's, Gary Keller says it's 2 deals for every 12 people. Brian Buffini says it's 8 people for every 1 deal, okay? So if you do the math, right, and figure out how many deals you want, right, you need that many people in your database. And you have to be hitting them up how many times?
33.
33 times, okay? So I gave you a chart of who you can connect with in your database, okay? So here's what I do. Have any of you guys seen Money Tip Monday? If you haven't, it would be an honor of mine if you signed up, right? So you could start receiving the Money Tip Monday emails. But I have a Money Tip Monday video that goes out every single Monday on just money tips in general, okay? So this is how I started bringing people into my database. I can talk to them. It's non-threatening. It's on something that is relatable to everything. There's like endless topics to talk about with money, right? If I was talking about mortgages, people would probably not sign up for my newsletter. Okay, the same thing with real estate and market trends. I don't know how many people are really signing up for a real estate newsletter, but if you were doing like top things to do in Phoenix or top things to do in 85032, right? People might sign up for that, especially if that's where they want to live and move, okay? So just know, one of the best people I've ever seen with the database strategy was Helene Cass. I know she's retired now, but she dominated McDowell Mountain Ranch. like more than I've ever seen. She had a newsletter, a networking group. I mean, like parties all the time. I mean, she just was like in your face. A new business opened. She's like, "Hi, my name is Helene Cass. I basically own this area." Right? Like she would just like come in and everyone knew her. I had a client who opened up an ice cream shop and he literally was like, "Oh yeah, this nice lady just met me and told me all about this thing and she's gonna include me in her newsletter as a featured business." I was like, "Is her name Helene?" He's like, "How did you know?" I was like, "Oh my God, it's insane." So just know you need to be growing your databases, okay? So this includes, right, a very good Facebook strategy with valuable tips on things, a newsletter that you can email people at least once a month, but if you can get them once a week, that's huge, right? In video or in text, whatever you can put out there, okay? You need to have a really good birthday strategy and a referral reward system that people can see, okay? Write that down, referral reward system that people can see, okay? So for me, if you know me, what do I send out on people's birthdays? Cupcakes. Okay? Alright, and when people close a deal with me, what have you been seeing this year? Videos, what do they look like?
Celebrations.
They're boomerangs. They're like, we throw confetti at you, we say you rock, that, you know. The last one was like, you can't do epic shit with basic people. Right?
Do epic shit with basic people.
Anyway, right, like that was the video that we posted. People love them, right? This is a public referral program. I can't even tell you how many times people are like, "Oh my God, I love your videos. Thank you so much." We're paying them honor. We're showing their databases that they're really helpful to our business. It's a fun way for them to engage. We're doing lots of promotions, events. Like I have a referral event tomorrow, right, for all of our referral partners. I have a client giveaway with same type of thing, happy hour for all of our clients. We have a hashtag. I mean, it is a very, very public referral reward system without people being aware of it. Do you know what I mean? Like we just make it fun, and there's no real I mean, a boomerang video is not a big deal. But like if you were to do that for your clients, just be like, "It's Facebook official," you know, confetti, right? They would be willing to share that. They're so excited that they get that. You know what I mean? Or you can tell a testimonial about how their transaction went, what an honor it was, and tell quirks about them, right? And then you can send that out to the rest of your lead database and say, "Hey, this was this first-time home buyer journey," right? Like you can intermix content like this, but you have to have a very public referral reward system where people know their pathway to success. Right? So if they refer you or if they use you, they've got to be able to visualize what that process looks like and how they're going to feel at the end. Okay? Does that make sense? You look a little confused.
I'm always confused. When have you known me not to be confused?
Well, I don't know that you're confused, but you look like you're thinking.
I am. You're making me think a lot, and I hear all these great things.
Okay.
Fantastic. Mind-boggling.
Cool.
Epic comes to mind. Okay?
Oh.
And then I say, wow, that's, I think about the time and the effort and the energy involved with just the simple mechanism of putting this auto plan or this task together, and my brain goes down this little bunny hole, and it's like, well, how much time do you have to do? Then what about doing the friggin' job? Make the phone call. So it becomes an overwhelming thought process, and that's where my why.
Yeah, how many are you? How many of you are you? How you cloned how many times?
So here's the deal. To do 1,000 loans, you need a lot of people. I got 20 people. Okay? But you're not trying to do 1,000 deals, right? And if you were, you would have a team. So this is a very, very real thing that happens, okay? So a couple things, I created what it looks like to have a 33 touch, right? Because for me, it's so important for you guys to see what this looks like. And if you follow me on Facebook, right? So I am Lizy Hoeffer Irvine, right, on Facebook. I have Lizy with one Z, unfortunately. Oh, Sammy right there. Sam's. So if you follow me, you'll start seeing this and get ideas, okay? But here's where you start, okay? You start by categorizing your leads and having something to say every day on Facebook, okay? And it needs to be something authentic that you really believe in. So for me, I picked something that I felt that I could use in a variety of categories. So I'm using money tips, right? Because budgeting and spending has been a pain point in my personal life, and I actively work on it all of the time to make sure that I'm hitting all my goals, okay? So that's the thing. So I read things and then write the thing that I'm currently implementing. Then I record a video about it. That's I use literally, this is exactly how I implement it. It's one thing on Fridays. I record from 2 to 4, my video. I put my newsletter on Monday with that. I send out my YouTube video. I post it on Facebook on Monday. I post it on Instagram, same thing. I post it on LinkedIn, and it goes on my blog. Okay? So I'm getting all the same content out of one thing. Okay? I change it up a little bit for each medium, right? But I'm using the same topic, and I'm learning personally. It's what I do on my free time, right? And I've chosen that as the thing that I'm going to do, right? To add value. Okay? That's how you start getting something like this executed. You don't overcomplicate it. You don't think, oh my God, I need 20 pieces of different things. You start with one thing and figure out how you can maximize it throughout everything. But I will say that you need, even if you're posting once a week, right? And you use that as your newsletter, like if you just recorded a video.
So posting once a year is not good then?
I would say you need once a week, guys. If you're, and you need a social strategy once a week. Right, people need to see you once a week at a minimum. If you can do 3 to 5 times, that's even better, but once a week is just enough. Especially if you have them on your newsletter, right? Because chances are they're going to see it in newsletter, they're going to see it on Instagram, they're going to see it on Facebook, or they're going to see it on LinkedIn, right? Like that's what'll happen, right? And so no, you don't have to incorporate everything all at one time, but if you take anything from today's class, learn how to categorize your leads and use Facebook to leverage that category. Right? So, at a minimum, right, you categorize your leads, you know when to follow up, and you have a system for contacting them. Okay? Right? If you just implemented that one strategy with every single lead that you had, you would have an increased business. 100%. Okay? If that's the only thing you changed. Actually, if the only thing you changed was adding 2 dials right up front, your conversion would be higher than it is today. Right? So just know that wherever you are, because certain people came here today and they already kind of had something going, right? So you have to be able to give value to each thing, but many of you will walk away going, oh my God, like, where do I even begin? You begin with double dialing on your lead and making sure it's categorized. Okay? Thank you for that question, though. Honestly, that stuff's very helpful for people who didn't have, you know.
Did look totally confused. They're hiding their confusion, is that what you're saying?
No, there are other people, but I know you.
Being a lender, you obviously get a lot of birthdays and stuff. A lot of times, how do you find, is there any way to get birthdays if you don't like
Facebook.
Facebook has
That's why
everybody.
That's why you do all the Facebook, okay.
I go to Facebook truthfully because people are willing to put out whatever is going on in their life on Facebook.
If it's not, it's a good reason to call.
And honestly, the people who don't, I'm like, hey, it's 2019. I can't figure out what's going on in your world. Why aren't you on social media? I have to call you like in the olden days. Right? I mean, that's funny, right?
How many times do you friend request somebody?
So I only accept friendships of people that I know and I'm working with. Mm-hmm. And on a regular basis, I defriend the people who never did business with us.
Yeah.
So you're limited to 5,000 friends.
Yeah. So say you're just trying to stock a lead, you know, and
you get 25 C first a month.
Huh?
So you can put 25 people in your C first category, and I friend every lead that I'm hardcore trying to convert.
And if they don't accept your friend request?
I will send them a photo of our pending friend request and circle it and be like, that's the emoji I send them.
Nice, nice.
Be like, we can't be friends?
Nice.
Like, you want to be my friend? And people are like, oh my God, I'm just so busy, I didn't see it. Don't worry, click. I'm friends in like a couple
Can I
seconds.
get your calendar? Just kidding.
Yeah.
No, like, no, I'll never mind, except do it their friend request for you. This 33 touch, is this over a year?
Over a year.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 33 touch in 1 month might be very impressive.
Right, yes.
Okay, and then these are all the different.
Just all the different examples of how you can touch people, right? So this is an extreme conversion class, right? So some of you are in like, I need to figure out where to put my leads. Other people have a really good system, strong business, and they're like, how do I take this to the next level?
So in your CRM system,
Yes.
if you have multiple categories, because I've done multiple categories and then put them back into this, how are you sending, do you send them newsletters, and how are you doing that if you have multiple categories, or do you have the same person in multiple categories?
So I send out, so I have the same person in multiple categories, but my CRM is only sends it out one time. So just so you know, so you have to have a CRM system that's smart enough to to know that, you know what I mean, that I won't duplicate emails. Most of them are though, just so you know.
Wise agent isn't.
So maybe it's
I'm
time to look
changing,
for a
but
different one.
yeah.
But I send, so money tip is fairly neutral, right? So I'm like Carl, I couldn't implement like 5 different things, you know, for one. So I was like, well, everyone needs a money tip. I don't care if you own a home, you closed with me, or you're ready to buy. Like everyone wants to know that credit hack, right? And you can try like different things. Like I did a Facebook Live with my husband, and I was like, I don't know if people are gonna watch this. It was 3:30 last Wednesday. It was an hour long. I can't even tell you how many people.
Your
reached out to
your
me.
subject line though, it was something like watch Lizy get put on the spot, or it was something like that. It was like watch Lizy stump her husband or something. It was like,
Well, I don't know. And then when we post-marketed it, it was like my husband and I just had couples therapy.
That's what it was. It
Yeah.
was something like that.
Yes.
Yeah, we just had couples therapy.
Because then
on
you had
that.
to watch it. You're like, couples therapy. Let's watch and see what happened.
But it was like couples therapy, right? And you talk about money with your husband, and it's live. I mean, we didn't know. We're just like, okay. And we're funny together, right?
Wow.
That's just the kind of stuff that we do. I got so much client engagement from that
Wow.
that I ended up reposting it today, right? Reminding people, hey, I'd love your feedback on this, right? I just want to remind people, hey, and I've uploaded it to YouTube, right? Because we got really good engagement. In fact, 1,500 people saw that video.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, thank God we didn't fight,
couples
right?
therapy goes viral.
But it's the stuff that like everyone can relate to. Everyone can relate to talking about money with a significant other and or a business partner, right? Everyone can. Okay, so you just pick a topic that's neutral enough to go in every category, unless you have a lot of time to be able to do this. And just so you guys know, I just calendar it. So every Friday, because it's like the least busy time I have between 2 and 4 p.m., I record my videos and I write my blogs up. That's it. Sunday night, I plan out all my social media based on whatever my thing is that's going out that week. They're always related. I'm always reminding people of the thing I'm talking about because only 12% of what I'm putting out is even going to be viewed.
I've had a lot of people. I have a lot of lists of people that I kind of like met at open houses and stuff, and do all this stuff to follow through, and so they figure they fell through the cracks or something. Is there any way? How would you just discard all those people, or would you find a way to try to get in touch?
I would pick up the phone and call all those people and say, in the last year you mentioned that you were interested in buying a home. Did you make that happen? Yes or no?
And tell them where you're.
But that's literally how I would say, hey, in the last 12 months, you and I met at an open house and you said you were interested in buying a home. Were you able to make that happen? Right? Right? If not, like, and what prevented that, right? When are you looking again? Because honestly, I have a list of off-market properties. I mean, I'm willing to door knock, I really liked you and we never did business together, right? Like, just think of something, but you will call all of those people.
So when you do talk to these people, you just kind of tell them you met them at open house last time. You probably remember me, but
No, I don't say you remember me. I say, hey, you and I talked about buying a house in the last 12 months. I believe we met at an open house. Were you able to do that? Okay. If not, what happened? So this is not a script class, but just so you know, when you do that, people either were moving away from something they couldn't, right? They have bad credit, their job lost, whatever. So they're moving away from something, or they're moving towards something. So they're actually, yes, you know what, we're ready to look again, right? So the 1 or 2 situations when they pick up. If they say they can't, just say, oh, well, tell me a little bit more about that, okay? Don't go into your sales pitch. Let them go ahead and tell you why they couldn't. And then when they have finished, you have to say, are you open to any feedback on that? If they do not open up for feedback, right, you can't just sell them, right? You'll get a hang up. But if they say yes, because most people aren't going to go, no, I'm not open to feedback. It's too aggressive, right? Then you say, well, look, I have a list of off-market properties. I have this really amazing website that you can search properties on. I mean, I'm willing to door knock every home in Phoenix if I have to, but I will find you the right house. I think you were just working with the wrong person, right? Like, that's what you say, right? If they're moving towards it, that's an easy thing. But right now, they're either a garbage list or you're making phone calls. I built my entire career, guys. I started as a receptionist, just so you guys know. And I was like, dude, I don't want to be the receptionist forever. And they had these stacks of leads that I was supposed to shred. Okay? They were 2-year-old leads, and I was supposed to shred them because they were garbage. And I went to my boss and I said, hey, if I call these leads at night, you don't have to pay me, but if I convert these leads, will you pay me $50 a lead? Okay, $50 was 5 hours of my time. Okay, that's how I built my entire career. I just started calling.
And he said yes?
They said, yeah, who's going to say no for free labor?
And what was your conversion rate on that?
I don't remember at the very beginning. I remember it being really hard and a lot of people hung up on me. And can I tell you a funny story? I am a millennial, so I didn't know you had to press 1 before you dial a long distance number because you know you get your cell phone, you just do that, right? Like, so I learned that thing a couple of weeks. That was like one of the dumbest things I ever did, but I learned it on this stack of leads, right? So at first I was no good. But after a while, I remember getting my very first warm lead, and I was like, yes, I've got this. And then after 90 days, I got pretty good at figuring out if they are complaining, you listen. If they're not complaining, you book an appointment, right? This is my thing. And so I just started booking appointments. I got really, really good. In 90 days, guys, they let me open up a call center with college students, and they gave me a raise, and I got a different job, right? But that's how you have to seize it, right? Like garbage leads, I promise you 100% in that list there's like 1 or 2 buyers. You just gotta find them, right? You just gotta find them. You might have to call 200 people to get the 2, but you got nothing better to do, call them, right? And
They stack of them, they're just like, oh, it's been so long.
I know, but that's what people think. Those leads were 2 years old.
Yeah.
You know what else I learned? People 2 years, they buy homes every 3 to 5, right? I might catch them on the next like uptick, right? Like there's just so many things. Just call them. They're nothing now or they're potential.
And the answering thing, same thing, just hang up or whatever.
Heck yeah, and just call me back. Hey, it's blah blah blah. Here's my number. Call me back, quick. Don't tell them what company you work for. Don't tell them you're calling for real estate. Don't tell them any of that stuff, right? You gotta sound like their buddy. Oh my God, we met a year ago. You were interested in buying a home. Did that ever happen for you? I'm so bummed we never got to work together. Would you hang up on me seriously if I sounded like that? I don't know. But if you were like, hi, this is Lizy Hoeffer with Guild Mortgage, you'd be like,
It takes you a long time to figure out where you know this person from. You're like, oh, okay. And keep talking.
and the thing is, never say how are you, never say checking in. Just be like, hey, how's the home search going? Right? Because hey, how's the home search going is good, bad, stopped, right? They can't go yes, no, click, right? Normally people are like, oh my God, how's the, they're still trying to figure out who you are. Right? People aren't as rude as you think. People, like it takes a lot of balls to hang up on someone.
Yes, it is.
It does.
For
I
most people.
got storage full. This storage locker full. I do it all the time. Sorry.
It's okay, but you might be that person, right?
You're 1 in a million.
Well, I don't think so.
Look.
If I am, then you're all doing well.
Look, let me tell you, it is very few people will hang up on you. Like very few people, and very few people. This is true. Like if they get you on the phone, very few people hang up on you, and very few people cuss you out.
I'm over 2.
It depends on, well, I guess it depends on what list you're calling. I guess if you're calling the expireds and FSBOs and those people are getting hammered all the time, those people, but if you called an expired FSBO like a year after it was expired, they're probably less inclined to hang up on you and tell you to F off.
Yeah, what took you so long?
Like, hey, you know, I'm so bummed we never worked together. Did you end up buying that house? Oh my God, best of luck. How is it going for you? Right? Is it everything that you wanted? How do you like the neighborhood? Are you thinking of selling? Right? You know, hey, I am really looking to expand my business. Did you like your realtor? Would you recommend that realtor? Right? Do you think that I might be somebody that you would consider if I sent you my contact information? Right? Like you just have to get it in. But I have, in my experience of cold calling, guys, it has been far more like happy times than bad times. In fact, I feel like so did you all sign in today?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna send you this amazing TED Talk on I will.
Sign me in.
Yes, I will. I'm gonna send you this amazing TED Talk. It's about 100 days of rejection. So this guy literally gets rejected every single day 100 times, right? He's trying to get rejected. He goes to Starbucks. He's like, can I get 2 lattes for the price of 1? They're like, no. Well, how about 1.5 lattes for the price of 1? Well, how about a grande latte for the size of a tall? Right? Like he's just trying to negotiate his way. Right? But you'd be surprised how many times he got a yes. right? You just have to know that the majority of this is going to be a no, not right now. Do not take it personal. For every 10 people that you communicate with, 7 people say no automatically. They're not interested. Okay? Just because they said no doesn't mean you're a jerk, you suck at life, you can't convert, you're the worst realtor ever. Right? None of those things are true. Okay? They just said no. 3 people will say maybe, and then only 1 out of the 3 is going to do business with you. That's it. Right? So if you know the numbers, just get to work.
When you have like a not right now on a call, or like on your follow-ups, are you still stalking them, doing the birthday thing?
Heck yeah.
Okay.
And I don't just take not right now for an answer.
Okay.
So I'm like, well, let's unpack that a little bit. Why do you think you can't buy right now?
Okay.
Well, I haven't found the house I'm looking for. Oh goodness, well let's talk more about that. Well, what are you exactly looking for? What have you seen out there? Would you be open to more things? Like, you guys have to get a little bit more aggressive, right? If people, like, it's just so easy for people to give up, right? But people say no, and I'm like, well, let's talk about that a little bit more. Let's get some more details. Let's go there. Case in point, I talked to a guy who was told by 3 other lenders he could not qualify because he started a commission job 4 months ago with the same employer that he's been employed with for 1.5 years. I happen to know that this employer uses this thing called the work number, and all of his income is probably going to be lumped into one thing, like base salary, because it's all commission. And I know that DU now lets us do day 1 certainty, where it just like approves the income for you. So I was like, you know what, let me take this anyway. This might be a long shot, but I know this system. I explained the solution. Guess who's doing the home loan?
You are.
Me. But if I had just said, oh, the guy said he couldn't qualify, that would mean that other loan officers did their job so well. Right? Just the same way that another realtor might not have found them the house. You just cannot give up. Don't give up. Okay.
So true.
It is so true. It's just the way that you look at things. Okay. So guys, we are 3 minutes over time. But I am going to close with this. I am not a public speaker for a living. I am a hungry loan officer. In fact, the hungriest one you've ever met. I want to close 1,000 loans, and I would love for you guys to help me with that. So if this class brought you any value whatsoever, I hope that you will consider me for your next referral. Okay? Thank you so much.
Can I make a pitch? Can I make a pitch?
Yeah.
Okay, so the whole follow-up thing here, you know, you can kind of just go, give it to her, right? Just send her your buyers, right? Any buyer leads you get, and she qualifies everybody. Because I don't waste. As long as I send her the lead, I don't even mess with them, right? Because she is going to tell you whether or not they're real or not. And when she says, hey, you know, I've got an appointment with this person, they're coming in to talk about a mortgage, I go, cool, that's hot, you know. Otherwise, you waste your time, you know, I mean, you got to contact your leads and all and whatnot, and then you call them and they say,